Let's dive into the one question that's pretty much on everyone's mind right now. Is a robot or an AI gonna take my job? In the next few minutes, we're gonna break down exactly how this incredible technology is shaking up our world, and most importantly, what it means for you. And look, let's just start with a dose of reality straight from the guy at the heart of the AI revolution. This isn't some far off sci fi prediction. Sam Altman is basically telling us that a massive, massive transformation is already underway, and it's happening a whole lot faster than anyone really expected. And when we say massive, we mean it. We're not talking about a few thousand jobs here and there. The number is 300 million. That's the number of jobs around the world that could be seriously disrupted or even just disappear. To give you a sense of scale, that's almost the entire population of the United States. A number like that, well, it tells you this is a conversation we need to have, and we need to have it now. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get into why this time is so different from past tech revolutions. Then, we'll look at how AI is already changing office jobs. After that, we'll explore what happens when the robots really start showing up in the physical world. And finally, we'll zoom out to look at the big picture and talk about how you can prepare. All right, part one, the dual transformation. You know, we've been through huge technological changes before. Think about the steam engine or the personal computer. So what's the big deal this time? Well, the answer is something called the dual transformation. So here's the absolute key to understanding this moment. In the past, revolutions usually came for one thing at a time, mostly our physical and manual labor. But this time, two incredibly powerful forces are hitting their stride at the exact same time. You've got generative AI, your chat GPTs getting amazing at cognitive work, writing, thinking, analyzing. And right alongside it, you have advanced robotics getting ready to take on physical work. It's a true 1-2 punch to the entire job market. And this slide right here shows you the other huge piece of the puzzle, speed. The Industrial Revolution played out over a century, which gave our great-grandparents generations to adapt. This thing, it's all being squeezed into just a few decades. That means the pressure on us, on our companies, on our governments to adapt it's immediate and it is intense. Okay, part two, AI as your co-pilot. So let's bring this down to earth. How is all of this affecting jobs right now, today? Well, for most office workers, AI isn't showing up as a replacement just yet. It's more like a co-pilot. It's helping you do research, draft that boring email, or make sense of a spreadsheet. But even as a helper, it's already starting to change the game. And you'll probably notice a pattern here. The first wave of this AI disruption isn't hitting the factory floor, it's hitting the office. All those repetitive, predictable, administrative tasks are basically the low-hanging fruit for today's AI. If your job involves a lot of organizing information or answering the same questions over and over, you're on the front lines of this change. But this disruption isn't being felt equally. Not at all. Because historically, women have been more concentrated in these at-risk administrative and customer service roles. They are way more exposed to automation. I mean, just look at these numbers. It is staggering. 79% of working women are in jobs at high risk, compared to 58% of men. That's a huge gap. And it's not just about gender. It's also about your paycheck. There is a massive divide based on income. If you're earning less than about $38,000 a year, you are a shocking 14 times more likely to have your job disrupted by AI. 14 times. This really shows that the first wave is hitting lower wage service and admin workers the hardest. Part 3. When the robots arrive. So we've talked about the thinking jobs. But what about the other half of that dual transformation? Let's look ahead, say 5 to 10 years, when advanced physical robots really start to become common. The construction industry is a fascinating and maybe even a surprising example here. You might think it's all about robots replacing people, but in construction, automation is actually seen as a solution. The industry has a huge labor shortage. Companies are bringing in robots not to fire their workers, but to fill jobs that are sitting totally empty. And this table really gets to the heart of it. The future isn't just about jobs disappearing, it's about them completely changing. A bricklayer, for example, isn't replaced. Instead, they start working with a robot, handling the tricky corners, while the machine does the long, straight walls. Or an equipment operator might not be in the cab of a bulldozer anymore, but in an office, remotely supervising a whole fleet of them. The job shifts from doing the manual work to overseeing the technology. And if you want proof that this is real, just follow the money. The market for AI in construction is expected to grow more than 5 times over in just a handful of years. An explosion of investment like that is a huge signal that this isn't some distant fantasy, The robot revolution in physical work is about to hit the accelerator. All right, part 4, beyond the job economy. So we've looked at the short and medium term. Now, let's pull the camera way, way back and ask the really big question. What happens when AI and robots get so good that they can do most of what we currently call work? This quote from Elon Musk really captures the kind of exponential curve we're riding. This progress isn't a straight line, it's a rocket ship. AI's capabilities are growing so fast that they keep surprising even the top experts, which forces us to think about futures that used to feel like pure science fiction. So, in a future like that, how do people even survive? One of the biggest ideas being debated right now is universal basic income, or UBI. The idea is pretty simple. If there aren't enough jobs to go around, the government gives every single citizen a basic income to live on, no strings attached. It's a potential safety net for a world with a lot less work. But, and this is a really, really big but, the financial challenge is just mind-boggling. To give every U.S. citizen just a basic poverty-level income would cost an estimated $8.5 trillion a year. To put that into perspective, that is nearly double the entire federal government's current revenue. It just shows you the scale of economic reinvention we'd be talking about. Okay, final section, adapting to the future. So with all this change hurtling towards us, it's easy to feel a little anxious. This last part is all about turning that anxiety into action. How do we actually prepare for what's coming? So what's the game plan? The single most important thing you can do is focus on what makes you human. AI is fantastic at repetitive tasks, but it's terrible at real creativity, deep critical thinking, and genuine communication. These are the durable skills. We all have to become lifelong learners, constantly updating our toolkits so we can work with AI, not get replaced by it. And remember, it's not all doom and gloom. While some jobs will fade away, totally new ones are going to be born. We're going to need people to train these AIs. We'll need ethicists to make sure they're being used fairly, and armies of technicians to keep all the robots running. The job market isn't just shrinking, it's evolving into something we're only just starting to imagine. Which brings us to our final question. And this one goes way beyond your job or your paycheck. If machines start to handle more and more of our tasks, what's left for us? How will we, as people and as a society, find our purpose and define our value? That is the profound challenge, and maybe the incredible opportunity that lies ahead of us